Welcome to Sunday brunch. Well, Sunday. Yes, the Sunday brunch edition of Booze Your Own Adventure, where I'll actually be adventuring, which we haven't been doing for a little while. Yeah. So what are we drinking today, Nella? Well, because it's Sunday, we just going to go classic brunch with some Belinus, which is peach nectar and sparkling white wine. And so we going to be talking about the outline of this week, but next week we are going to have our guest author. Her name is Lindsay Ribar, and she is the author of The Art of Wishing and the Fourth Wish. It's about genies. It's about So if you want to join us in our discussion of that, make sure you read that before the next episode, which actually will be out a week from this one-ish, I promise, because that one's already shot. I don't have an excuse. Well, I think at this point we'll announce on Twitter the release date, so you guys know our schedule a little better. We re-adults. We re-adults. So obviously we have the interactive element of our project, where you suggest to us scenes, tropes, characters you know, and we have gotten very many very good ideas. Uncle Neil, for instance, was 1,000,000% not our brainchild. He is the gift that keeps on giving, and we thank you for him. But like as with last time, we went ahead and cobbled together a very raw possible skeleton of an outline. And so what we're going to do now is kind of explain the skeleton for Viridian Saga Book 2. Okay, so in the broadest of strokes, what is this one going to be a parody of? Because we're redoing dystopia in the third book. Yeah. So this one is the parody of New Moon, where our lovebirds where everything was perfect. And then all of a sudden, no, it's not. And it's that. It's just the continuation. The long drawn out will they want they wear Sigun. So if you've read Awoken, it's basically going to be a novel-length version of chapter 19. Yeah. Except, of course, we have to bring in the setup of the ethnic third wheel love interest. Yeah. And his blossoming powers, which he has due to his, wonderful exotic ethnicness. Yeah. As somewhat inspired by Jacka Black. But also, it's also kind of a dig on things like, well, for one thing, Tajer's Curse, a book that nobody but us read, but we were just so inspired by. And we highly recommend. Oh yeah, that's part of your homework. That's part of your homework. Read Tajer's Curse. Go ahead and throw that poor author a few bones, because we rag on her so much. We could at least give her some money. And then come back and let's talk about its Maritzia. Because that's out. And the Guru in the woods. And the Guru in the woods. With the bath bombs and the copper tub that he has for our white princess in the Mediterranean Chetu. So anyway, that's why you have to read it, so we can talk about it more in the comments. So we going to watch the movie Eat. Pray, love for inspiration, not read the books, because that's what Sarah would do. So we'll do that at some point within the next. We really want to play with this whole white person goes to a foreign country to find themselves and white savior trope. So that's definitely going to be a big part of this, that we're going to be making fun of. That's our broad strokes idea. Let's discuss this outline. So, of course, the books got to open with Andy reflecting on how much her life has changed since she met the one. Like 2 weeks ago. Yeah. And you definitely want to keep the frame very tight. Of course, everything is awesome. Life is fantastic. She's best friends with his sister. And it's only been 2 weeks. Yeah. We were like, didn't want it to be such a knockoff of Twilight. But I guess that's kind of inevitable. So we were like, what happens? I guess he almost like sleep eats her soul or something. Obviously give us suggestions for what this inciting incident could be to make it maybe slightly less of a Twilight knockoff. I don't know. He needs to go find a soul to sate his hunger, and he feels bad, so obviously he's gotta leave her for her own good, and go devour her soul somewhere. No fucks were given that day about the people who were going to do. She just obviously is just like catatonic. Yeah, we're definitely not going with the ethical vampires here. No, he's awful and she's awful. It's awesome. But he doesn't tell her she's going. He just fucking goes, and I think we had this possible reveal that he left a note with Uncle Neil, who forgot to give it to her or something like that. But, of course, there's gotta be at least 2 scenes where it's kind of like, it's right there, and Neil's like, I had, never mind. As a side note, with Riley, I'm sort of wondering if do we even want to try and do the thing where, like, well, I was going after a wife beater to feed me soul, like it shouldn't to be like, he goes after yeah. That could be interesting. Could you undo you? I should do Well, what do you think? Should he just be a terrible person who just indiscriminately should he just go after whoever, or should he go after only the bad ones, like Dexter? Ye, you know, he only eats the souls of serial killers now. He's a reformed eldritch horror, like dog kickers. He's a reformed eldritch horror. So Vic's relatives come to school and convinces the teacher to take the class to India, 'cause why not? Ye, and they in high school that seems legit. You know, it's the big spring break. I think it should also be like a little missionary thing as well, like, hey, pay money. Let's go to another country and build houses. Yeah, they like Habitat for Humanity or something. Let's go dig some holes in the ground. Already there's too much thought being put into this. Well, I think this fits for Sarah Allison, though, because she comes from a very religious background. You know, in high school she went on a missionary trip for the Anna-Protestants, and she just learned so much about herself. The Anna-Protestants go to Dayton, like that's their mission. She goes from Trotwood to Dayton. From Trotwood go to, and that's a very big exotic. So they go to India, and that's like, you know, about in the winter, spring break. Airport, of course, is right next to the Ganges River. There are people bathing in it. So this is where we think we should only call like. Mumbai is just only referred to as Bombay. Like the whole time. I feel like maybe some people will try to correct whoever's talking. And they like just kabosh. Istanbul is Constantinople. Uncle Neil also shows up. We definitely want him driving he plows out of the Ganges. Driving his car out of the Ganges. Fishing water out of his ear. What I miss? Why are you here? I forget, there's something I was supposed to tell you. Yeah, it's like somewhere in the middle he shows up for some reason. What's the reason, audience? You would definitely want to crib a little from Transformers. No, it was that Annie's mom gets high. Oh yeah, we need to do some, because it's funny. We need to do some revenge of the fallen action. Mom gets high. I might want to know, like peace pipe. It should be a peace pipe or something. But that's while they in India. However, when they first get off the airplane, and this is where we start getting into Act 2, a turbaned assassin attacks. Oh yeah. Now, here's the thing. Everyone will always think all this stuff is for Andy, but it's actually for Vic. Yeah. And there's gonna be a big reveal in the middle that we find out that Vic is actually so things will repeatedly happen. Yeah. Things will repeatedly happen. Andy's like, obviously it's because of me. So some special things start to happen to Vic. Like we go to the rat temple, and all the rats just feel so dirty. I feel so dirty. We've gotta be really careful about this. Yeah. I mean, this is gonna take a deft hand. Of course Andy thinks it's all about her. No, it's not. What we just gonna have to do is that in the descriptions, it has to be what characters say and how things are described. This is gonna be really hard. We looked up for the Hindi word because we were like, Andy's gotta be the special. So we looked up the Hindi word for special, which is I think the Caesar. I might need to double check any Hindi or Urdu speakers on me pronunciation. I studied Hindi very briefly, but it was years ago. I forget things the day after I learn them. Day after day, I have their name. Meanwhile, this is all going on in the background. Bree is having awesome Indiana Jones adventures, pretty much discovering why Andy can't be this discovering why Andy. She's like, I don't think it's you. It said it had to be someone that was like, I'm from this land. They meet multiple Maharajas. Every town has a Maharaj. And in the midpoint, we reveal that Vic is the special and has been the whole time. Somehow or other, this ties in with Cthulhu lore somehow. 75 into this story, Riley has to come back. We have to have the scene where Andy almost kisses Vic. I don't know, magical starlit night. Or maybe he stepped into his special powers. And she cannot resist them. She just has a thing for avatars. I am imagining a big Bollywood wedding that they just get invited to. That would be kind of awesome. There's a single red rose. It shouldn't even come to Akis. Just be like, he caresses her with a red rose and then Riley shows up. He knows exactly what that means. He's seen Collet. He knows what's up. I don't think the rose was in Collet. Riley hurts Vic. Or Vic's powered now and is actually a match for Riley. And Andy's like, say. Because wasn't the idea behind the special going to be turns out he is in fact the 10th avatar of Vishnu, Kake, who is destined to bring an end to this world and a beginning to the next. And only she can stop him. Obviously. Maybe this is her destiny all along. She's the heart of Vishnu. She's the only one who can never stop anyone. She's the heart of everything. But she just doesn't listen. Why would you leave? I feel so scorned. And now she understands. She thinks about Scarlet and wonders if this was the scorn. Could it turn out like her, now that Avi been scorned? So that's our end of Act 2. And Vic gets kidnapped by. So this is our bad guy. So who's our bad guy? Line say. Oh yeah. Was to it Loki. Oh yeah. Kidnapped by Loki in guise of Indian god. And I would honestly at this point say how drunk were we when we realized, but I know we were fat. We were at a tea place with Lisa, who is super pregnant and therefore can to drink. So we were so sober. Sober cracked out, which is great. My thought about Loki was that it's just like Tom Hiddleston. Word for word he keeps quoting the movies or skirting the copyright of quoting the movies. And it's also so. That's all Sarah really knows about Norse mythology. Anyway, so Vic gets kidnapped and then Riley doesn't want to help even though it would be saving the world. So Andy's on her own. Of course with Bry. Yeah, we need to find a way to make Riley suck less than he is in this outline. I mean like he sucks, but he needs to be kind of like an alluring kind of suck. Like if you were writing in a shoal, that also still like a Christian Grey type who sucks that the readers like for some unfettered reason. You know how every will be like, but by the end of the book she really sort of comes into her own and she's not getting pushed around anymore. That's exactly what's happening by the third of those books. Since it is Loki, we do learn that Vic is in fact not the 10th avatar Vishnu but some Nordic the special. Like he's actually the Nordic special, and it's not gonna be the Hindu version of the end of this world but the Nordic Ragnarok, which is basically the same thing. I mean it's the same but not. You know, obviously details differ. But the whole vague like this world is ending and a new one's gonna begin. One world ends in fire and the other ends in ice. In Hinduism it's the end of the world is considered a good thing because this world, I forget the word for it, but it basically means dark times. It's like Kali something. And it's like this world sucks, but then the 10th avatar Vishnu's gonna come and make this world end, and then we gonna have a good age, and it's gonna be like the fun awesome age that sucks considerably less than this age does, and we live in the age of suck. And I know doing complete justice to this really in-depth proud history and deeply religious concept. The age of suck is what its official term in Hindi, and the ending is basically that. The world does end. It is reborn, in fact. Surprise. And there, snow Thursdays. That was gonna be a joke. No more Thursdays. But also it ends with there is not only a dystopia in this new horrible changed world, but also a matriarchy, and only our heroes have any memory of the way things should be. And so we, rethinking this once, gonna end on a cliffhanger. So that is our very, very, very loose skeleton. Obviously there are a lot of holes that need filling in our plot. And also what would you like to see parodied in this one that we haven't touched upon yet? Obviously we talk. We dig a lot on things like Pray Love Tiger's Curse and New Moon, and hinting at things like Divergent, which will obviously come in a third book. But what else? Hannah Jones. Of course Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. Yes. The greatest sequel of all time. She hasn't finished it. It got like 40 minutes in. We tried once. So leave your comments. Give us your suggestions. We talk not only about plot points, but also new characters, new faces. Obviously, Neil kind of takes up all of the awesome for the book, but we dare be interested to see if there are any others. I think we need a Maharaja Guru. It should be like he's a Maharaja, but he's a Guru. This is a character that keeps popping up throughout the book. It's like I thought you were a Maharaja. Yeah, I'm also a Guru. As always, leave your suggestions, comments, and warnings on Sheapocalypse. Come where we raid the comments. Also be sure to tweet at us and follow us at Sheapocalypse. And remember, next week we are going to be doing our first author interview. Lisa is going to be filling in for Nella. I will not be here. The week after that is going to be another review. We are going to review John Scalzi's new book, which you can't read because it's not out yet. So we're going to review a thing before it comes out. Go team. Exciting. Yay. You know that life, it sure does happen, doesn't it? Land sure does happen no that And again we are very sorry at our inability to keep to our schedule. Summer is difficult because we are basically not here during the weekends. We here to shoot and edit. Damn day jobs/ponds. I haven't even been to the beach yet. I know. I have not been near a body of water, and we live literally by the ocean. Yeah, our lives are hard. Our lives are really hard. It's so hard. It's just so freaking hard.